The scent of rosemary and lemon thyme fills our kitchen. It's the smell of a perfect life. I'm humming as I polish the silver for our 10th anniversary dinner. Mark, my husband, is the man everyone envies. He's successful, attentive, and still looks at me with those deep, soulful eyes that made me fall for him a decade ago. We are the gold standard of our social circle. Our home is a sanctuary of beige linen, high-end art, and soft jazz. I've spent 10 years building this fortress of stability. I've been the supportive wife through his late-night merges and his corporate climbs. I've been his rock, his confidant, and his biggest cheerleader. Everything looks beautiful, Ilara, Mark says, sliding his arms around my waist. He kisses my neck, but I feel a slight tremor in his hands. It's faint, but after 10 years, I know the vibration of his nerves. Is something wrong, honey? I ask, turning in his arms. He looks at the table, set for 4. We had agreed on a quiet night, just us and my sister and her husband. But Mark's eyes are darting toward the foyer. I actually made a small executive decision, he says, his voice dropping an octave. I invited someone else, someone who needs to see how well we're doing, to bury the hatchet. My heart skips a beat, not a romantic skip, a warning. Who, Mark? Chloe, he says. The name hits me like a physical blow. Chloe, his college sweetheart, the woman who broke his heart into 1,000 jagged pieces before I came along to glue them back together. The woman he swore he hadn't spoken to in years. You invited your ex-girlfriend to our 10th anniversary dinner? I ask, my voice sounding like it's coming from a distance. He shrugs, trying to look casual, but his eyes are too bright. She's back in town. She reached out. I thought, it's been a decade, Ilara. We're adults. It shows how much I've moved on if she can sit at our table and see our happiness. The doorbell rings. It's not my sister. My sister texted, saying they'd be late. Mark moves toward the door with an eagerness that makes my stomach churn. That was the moment everything changed. The air in the room didn't just turn cold. It turned predatory. The door opens and in walks a ghost. Chloe doesn't look like a woman who has aged a day. She's draped in silk that costs more than my first car, smelling of a perfume that is suffocatingly sweet. But it isn't her clothes that stop my heart. It's the look she exchanges with my husband. It isn't a haven't seen you in years look. It's a see you later look, a look of shared secrets and whispered promises. Ilara, she purrs, reaching out to squeeze my hands. Her fingers are ice. Mark told me so much about the stable life you've built for him. It's so cozy. Cozy is a slur in her mouth. She looks around my meticulously curated home like it's a dusty museum. Mark is hovering, pouring her a drink before he even asks me if I want one. He knows I only drink sparkling water on weeknights. He hands her a vintage red that we were saving for a special occasion. I trusted them. I whisper to myself as I head to the kitchen to check on the roast. My hands are shaking, so hard the tongs clatter against the pan. I see Mark's phone on the counter. It's face up. A notification pops up. No name, just a heart emoji. The message reads, "Are we telling her tonight?" The world tilts. I feel invisible. I am standing 3 feet away from them, and they are communicating in a language I don't speak. The betrayal isn't just the invitation. It's the realization that my 10-year marriage has been a stage play, and I'm the only one who didn't know the script. I watch them through the kitchen pass-through. Chloe leans in, touching Mark's forearm. He doesn't pull away. He leans closer. They look like a couple. I look like the caterer. They thought I wouldn't fight back. I mutter, gripping the edge of the marble counter. My mind is racing. If Mark wants to bring ghosts to dinner, I should bring one too. I remember a face from a business gala 3 months ago. A man named Julian. He had been the one to tell me, discreetly, almost pityingly, that Chloe was engaged to a high-powered tech mogul. A man who was famously possessive and notoriously private. I pull out my own phone. I have Julian's contact. I have his fiancé's contact information from the gala's guest list. Her fiancé is a man who doesn't like his investments wandering off. I send a single text. I include my address. I include a photo of Chloe's car in our driveway. The caption: "Your fiancé is celebrating a very private anniversary tonight. You should be here for the toast." The trap is set. Now, I just have to survive the dinner. The dinner table is a battlefield disguised as a feast. Mark is performing. He's telling stories of our success. But every story somehow centers on how Chloe inspired his early drive. It's sickening. I remember when we were in that tiny apartment, Chloe, Mark laughs, swirling his wine. "You always said I'd make it. Alara has been great at keeping the house running while I did." "I'm sure she has," Chloe says, her eyes fixed on Mark. "Every great man needs a housekeeper." I feel the tears pricking my eyes, but I refuse to let them fall. I am being erased in my own home. My contributions, my career in design, my years of emotional labor, all reduced to keeping the house running. "Mark," I say, my voice trembling, "why is she really here?" The table goes silent. Mark sets his glass down. His face hardens. The loving husband masks lips, revealing something cold and calculating. "Alara, don't be dramatic. We're just catching up." "Catching up, or picking up where you left off?" I ask. Chloe smirks. She actually smirks. "Mark, maybe we should tell her. The tension is ruining this lovely roast." Mark sighs, a sound of profound boredom. "Alara, Chloe is going to be working with me on the new expansion. She's moving back. We've been discussing it for months. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd react like this. Small-minded, jealous." I felt invisible. No, I felt discarded. Like a piece of furniture he was replacing with a newer, shinier model. The new expansion was just a code for their affair. I knew it in my marrow. "Is that all?" I ask, my voice unnervingly calm. And Chloe adds, leaning forward, "I'm looking for a place to stay while my new house is being renovated." Mark suggested the guest suite. "It's only for a few weeks. They are moving her into my house, under my roof. They are so confident in my submissiveness that they didn't even think I'd say no. They think I'm the same girl who apologized for being cheated on in high school. You want to move your ex into our home?" I repeat, "It's a big house, Alara." Mark says, "Don't be selfish." The room feels like it's shrinking. I can't breathe. I stand up, knocking my chair back. I need to scream, but I don't. I just walk to the window. Headlights sweep across the driveway. A black SUV pulls up. A tall, imposing figure steps out. "Someone's here," I say, my heart hammering a rhythmic war drum. "And Mark? I think he's here for Chloe." The front door doesn't just open. It's practically thrown aside. Julian walks in, his face a mask of controlled fury. Behind him is Chloe's fiancé, David, a man who looks like he could buy and sell Mark's entire company with a single phone call. The color drains from Chloe's face. She stands up so fast her wine spills, staining the white linen like a fresh wound. "David, what are you doing here?" Chloe stammers. David doesn't look at her. He looks at Mark. "So, this is the consultant you've been spending your business trips with." Mark stands up, trying to puff out his chest. "Now, look, I don't know who you are. I'm the man who pays for the lifestyle Chloe pretends she earned." David says, his voice like grinding stones. He looks at me. "And you must be the wife. I received your message." Mark turns to me, his eyes wide with shock. "You called him? You invited a stranger into our home." "He's not a stranger, Mark," I say, stepping into the light. "He's the man Chloe is supposed to be marrying next month. I figured if we're having a reunion, we should have the whole family here." The silence that follows is deafening. Chloe is frantically trying to grab David's arm, but he shakes her off like a stray hair. "David, honey, it's not what it looks like," Chloe pleads. "Mark and I were just discussing a project." At 9 p.m. on his anniversary, David asks, gesturing to the happy 10th anniversary banner I had spent all morning hanging, with candles, and his wife looking like she just found out her life is a lie. David turns back to Mark. I've heard about you, the rising star. I hope you enjoyed the glow, because I'm pulling every cent of my firm's investment from your project tomorrow morning. And Chloe, your bags are already on the curb at my place. Don't bother coming back. He turns and walks out. The power in the room leaves with him. Chloe looks at Mark. Mark looks at the door. Then they both look at me. You ruined it, Mark whispers, his voice shaking with rage. You just cost me the biggest deal of my career. Do you have any idea what you've done? I haven't even started, I say. The next morning, the house is silent. Mark didn't sleep in our bed. He stayed in the guest room, the one he wanted to give to Chloe. I don't cry. I don't throw plates. I sit at my desk and open my laptop. For 10 years, I've handled our finances. I know where every dollar is buried. Mark thought I was just keeping the house running. But he forgot that to run a house like this, you have to be a master of the books. I find the transfers. Thousands of dollars moved into a business account I never had access to, except he used our joint login for the initial setup. A rookie mistake for a man who thought his wife was a decorative object. The business account was paying for Chloe's luxury apartment for the last 6 months. It paid for jewelry. It paid for a trip to the Maldives while I was home taking care of his sick mother. I felt a cold, sharp clarity. This wasn't just an affair. It was embezzlement of our marital assets. I call my lawyer. I need the most aggressive filing you have. And I want an injunction on the joint accounts by noon. By 2 p.m., I'm at the bank. I see Mark's car in the parking lot. He's inside, likely trying to move money before David's firm pulls out. I walk in just as he's shouting at a teller. What do you mean the account is flagged? Mark yells. I flagged it, Mark, I say, walking up behind him. I hand him a manila envelope. Those are the divorce papers. And a copy of the forensic audit I started this morning. It turns out, keeping the house running involves a lot of record keeping. He looks at me like he doesn't recognize me. The meek Hilaire is gone. You can't do this, he stammers. We can talk about this. We did talk, I say. Last night, you told me not to be selfish. So I'm being practical instead. Chloe is waiting for you in the parking lot. I assume you should go to her. You're both going to be very poor very soon. I walk out of the bank with my head held high. I can feel his eyes on my back, not with love, but with fear. He finally sees me, but it's too late. The final blow comes 2 weeks later. Our gold standard social circle is having its annual charity gala. Mark, ever the narcissist, thinks he can still salvage his reputation. He shows up with Chloe on his arm, trying to spin a narrative that I lost my mind, and he's the tragic hero who found true love in the wreckage. I see them across the ballroom. Chloe is wearing a dress that screams rebound, and Mark is smiling that plastic, desperate smile. I don't avoid them. I walk straight toward the center stage where the silent auction results are being announced. Excuse me, I say, taking the microphone from the startled coordinator. The room goes quiet. Mark looks smug. He probably thinks I'm going to make a scene and prove his crazy wife theory right. I want to thank everyone for being here. I start, my voice steady. As many of you know, Mark and I recently celebrated 10 years. Or rather, we celebrated the end of 10 years of lies. Gasps ripple through the room. Mark starts moving toward the stage. Hilaire, get down from there. He hisses. I've prepared a special tribute for the auction. I continue, ignoring him. I point to the large screen behind me. Instead of a vacation package, I'm auctioning off the true story of a corporate icon. The screen flashes to life. It's not a slideshow of our marriage. It's a series of bank statements. It's the photos of Mark and Chloe in the Maldives, photos I recovered from his cloud. It's a screenshot of the message. Are we telling her tonight? The room is deathly silent. Then, the whispers start, sharp, biting, and loud. Is that Chloe? He used the charity fund for a mistress? Look at the dates. Mark reaches the stage, his face purple. Turn it off. This is private. She's unstable. I'm not unstable, Mark, I say, my voice echoing through the speakers. I'm the auditor. You spent 10 years thinking I was the background noise of your life. But the background noise just became the soundtrack to your downfall. Chloe tries to run, but she's blocked by the very women she used to snub. David is there, too, watching from the back with a grim smile of satisfaction. Mark grabs my arm, his grip bruising. You've destroyed everything. My career, my name, everything. No, Mark, I say, leaning in so only he can hear. You destroyed it the moment you invited her to my table. I just made sure the world saw the guest list. I pull my arm away and walk off the stage. I don't look back at the chaos. I don't look back at the man I once thought was my soulmate. I walk out into the cool night air. And for the first time in a decade, I can breathe without permission. 6 months later, the divorce was messy, but the evidence was undeniable. Mark lost the house, the car, and most importantly, his seat on the board. No one wants to do business with a man whose infidelity and financial recklessness were broadcasted on a 20-foot screen. Chloe? She's gone. She wasn't interested in a man who didn't have a corner office. Last I heard, she was trying to charm a junior associate in another city, but her reputation precedes her now. I'm sitting on the porch of my new place. It's smaller, filled with color instead of beige. And it's mine. Truly mine. My sister is inside, laughing as she helps me unpack the last of the boxes. There's no rosemary and lemon thyme scent here. Instead, it smells like fresh paint and new beginnings. I look at the framed photo on my mantel. It's not of a wedding. It's of me standing on a mountaintop I climbed last month. I look strong. I look alive. I used to think that my identity was tied to being we. I thought my value was in how well I supported his dreams. I was a secondary character in my own story. I lost my husband. I lost the perfect life. I lost the friends who were only there for the status. But as I watched the sunset over the trees, I realized I didn't actually lose anything that was real. The house was a cage, the marriage was a mask, and the perfection was a lie. I pick up my glass of wine. The good stuff, the stuff I bought for myself, and toast to the empty space beside me. Sometimes losing your family is the price of finding yourself.